Chen Xinyu stood outside, hesitating and blushing, her hand nervously pulling her dress down. After standing there for a while, she awkwardly ran off, thinking to herself, I can't look anymore. An hour and a half later, Chen now returned to her sister's room. She quietly pulled the blanket up and lay down next to Chen Xinyu. Suddenly, Xinyu wrapped her arms around her, causing Chen to ask in surprise, Xinyu, aren't you asleep yet? The younger girl answered in a soft, whiny voice, Big sis, I want to cuddle with you while I sleep. Chen smiled gently and stroked her sister's hair. Of course, cuddle up and get some rest. As Xinyu got closer, their bodies lightly brushed against each other. Chen now blushed, thinking of herself, she's really growing up fast. The next afternoon, Yuan Chen returned to school. Fu Yingzai led him into a room and asked, Yuan Chen, do you think this setup looks good? Is there anything that needs adjusting? Yuan Chen sat down on a chair, glanced around, then replied, It's perfect. No need to change anything. In his mind, he thought, it seems like Fu Yingzai is not only beautiful, also really efficient. She responds quickly to everything. Definitely a great candidate for secretary. Everything's in order now. Seeing that Yuan Chen seemed satisfied, Fu Yingzai handed over another stack of documents, saying, These are the first batch of startup proposals and business plans from the students I picked up from the student union this morning. There are over a dozen of them. Do you want to take a look? Yuan Chen nodded and took the stack of files. Sure, let's have a look. The first document immediately surprised him. He thought to himself, what is this? Can they really edit a photo like this now? He flipped through a few more pages and his expression darkened. Never mind, I don't feel like looking at the photos. Let's just dive into the business plans. A coffee shop on campus, a pet store, an esports gaming lounge. Wait, what? A sexy lingerie shop right on campus? Oh my god, who came up with this genius idea? Who would even dare to buy from there? If their friends caught them, they'd have to hide out of embarrassment. After going through the pile of useless papers, Yuan Chen fell into deep thought. He rubbed his temples and thought, this kind of low-quality proposal is completely unacceptable. Even though we're using the system's $100 million for these startups, we can't just throw something together like this. I didn't come here to play pretend happy family within the campus grounds. Right now, I can still rely on getting women to like me to earn a high return. But let's be real, I can't keep doing this forever, right? Am I really going to be that guy at 80 still hanging out at the beach trying to make women in bikinis laugh just to make money? I don't want to waste my whole life just to end up as an old man who only knows how to flirt. Both the startup project at school and Nada's coffee shop are serious steps to start building real business experience. Once the conditions are right, I have to dive into the business world and turn a small company into a big one. I need to build my career so that one day I can stand alongside global giants like Microsoft, Amazon, or Saudi Aramco. In this lifetime, I can't just be a carefree playboy, spending my days writing poetry. I need to become a legend of my time, someone who actually contributes to society and my country. With that thought in mind, Yuan Chen lifted his head and said to Fu Yingzi, Yingzi, it looks like I overestimated our international business students. These projects are unrealistic, too idealistic, and don't take into account the target market or customer base. I'm not taking any of them. We need to seriously plan again from scratch. Fu Yingzai said in a low voice, This is probably because there are still too few sample projects. Yuan Chen asked again, That could be. So could the school and the party committee step up their efforts in publicity? Fu Yingzai tilted her head and replied, Sure. Initially, Secretary Liu also asked me to cooperate fully with you. I'll have the school's radio station announce it in the mornings and evenings starting tomorrow. At the same time, we'll post promotional updates across the school's Weibo, Telegram, and even Twitter accounts. Does that sound good to you? Yuan Chen rested his chin in his hands, satisfied, and made a suggestion. Let's do that. Also, prepare an additional set of exam papers for the second round of screening. Try to cover areas like business administration, investment, marketing psychology, and international trade. Those who pass the preliminary round will have to take this second round exam. Fu Yingzi nodded, jotting down notes as she replied, Got it. I'll make sure to roll it out as soon as possible. Yuan Chen politely responded, Thank you for your hard work. Inside, he thought to himself, since I got the system, I've only experienced the joy of spending and earning money. This is the first time I've felt the thrill of making others work for me. Money doesn't just bring houses, cars, and women, but also power. He glanced at Fu Yingzi, silently calculating in his mind. To go further in the future, he was to bring in more talented people like her. It seemed that at this stage, he couldn't just focus on building rapport with the opposite sex. He also needed to quickly find reliable helpers. Switching to the gym, Manager Gong stormed in, barking orders. Liu Meng Lu, do you even know what time it is? You're just showing up for work now. Don't you want to keep your job? Liu Meng turned around, frowning as she replied, I already sent you a message asking for leave, and I even informed the members about today's class. He didn't soften his tone, instead snapping back, Don't you dare mention that. You asked for time off, but did I ever approve it? Liu Meng stood up, clearly annoyed. He wanted to show you the message I sent. You might have even had lunch with me, yet you're acting like you approve my leave request. Manager Gong, besides these tactics, do you have anything else up your sleeve? Caught off guard by her directness, Manager Gong stuttered, his frustration growing. Whatever. I still don't approve. You've been absent without permission. Do you even know how much the company fines for unapproved absences? Liu Meng maintained a calm, composed demeanor as she turned and walked away. Her voice was filled with confidence. If you want to fire me, go ahead. I'm done. I'm quitting. One of the gym employees approached and asked, Manager Meng, is she really quitting? Gong, the manager, responded confidently. All of her clients have been with us for years. If she quits here, how is she going to make a living? As soon as he finished speaking, the employee pointed to the parking lot and asked, Manager, what car is Meng driving? Gong glanced over and froze when he saw her getting into her car. He stared at it in disbelief and said, A Porsche 911, is she seeing some rich guy now? Once she got into the car, Liu Meng called Yuan Chen, speaking in a playful tone. Yuan Chen, I lost my job. The boss fired me. Aren't you going to comfort me? On the other end, Yuan Chen laughed and replied, Well, that's great. Coach Liu, doesn't this mean you could be my personal trainer now? Liu Meng with a slight teasing tone, asked, Really? If I become your personal trainer, do I get a bonus? Yuan Chen firmly replied, Reward. I'll come by later to practice with you and give you some money to spend. When Liu Meng heard money, she mischievously glanced at Yuan Chen, then smiled and said, Okay, I'll wait for you in the admin office. Love you lots. It wasn't until 8 p.m. that Yuan Chen arrived. Liu Meng opened the door, pretending to pout. You're so late. I thought you weren't coming anymore. Yuan Chen thought to himself, This girl is both clumsy and playful. She wants to tease me? Well, let me show her what teasing really looks like. He turned around, his tone casual. If you're not letting me in, then I'll just leave. Liu Meng panicked, quickly calling after him. Hubby, don't go. Yuan Chen asked leisurely, Didn't you say you wouldn't let me in? Liu Meng grabbed his hand, coaxing him sweetly. Oh, Yuan Chen, I was just trying to set the mood. Please don't go, okay? Yuan Chen tilted his head, giving her a mocking smile, then begged me. I want to see if you're being sincere. Liu Meng pressed her soft body against his arm and softly pleaded. What part of my attitude isn't sincere? Sorry, but I can't assist with that. Let me know if you need help with something else. After finishing his words, Yuan Chen immediately sped up, leaving Liu Meng in a daze. She thought to herself, no way, we just finished and he's already going this fast again. This is impossible. So the two of them continued to train for another hour. Liu Meng exhausted, collapsed and lay still. She sighed and said, Oh my God, I feel like I'm going to die. Is this how you treat me? You've even promised you'd be gentler. Yuan Chen rested his chin in his hand and said slowly, I was gentle earlier. I only used half the strength I normally would when I'm with Nana. Liu Meng of course, didn't believe him. She pouted and said, Stop talking nonsense. I've heard that before at the coffee shop. Your strength back then can't compare to now. Half the strength, huh? You clearly wanted to use all of it. The difference between then and now is like night and day. Hearing this, Yuan Chen glanced down at his own thin frame and thought to himself, I wonder how I ended up using so much energy. My body feels a bit worn out. I've been feeling like I've lost a little weight recently. Yuan Chen looked up and ordered the system to check his stats. His information quickly appeared on the screen. Height 182 centimeters, weight 70 kilograms, health index 69. He stared at the numbers, deep in thought. Sure enough, his weight had dropped by exactly 2 kilograms since last month, and his health index had decreased by 3 points. At 182 centimeters tall and only 70 kilograms, this wasn't right at all. Thinking about this, he turned to Liu Meng and said, Coach Liu, let's train tomorrow morning. Liu Meng raised an eyebrow. Do we really need to plan for tomorrow right now? What if you want to add more later? Yuan Chen frowned. What are you thinking? I'm talking about weight training. Look, don't you think I'm a bit too skinny right now? As soon as she heard that, Liu Meng jumped up excitedly. Finally, you realize you're just a little puppy, huh? Yuan Chen, feeling a bit embarrassed, snapped coldly, If you keep joking, I'll make sure you won't be able to stand up. She quickly changed her tone, saying in a more respectful voice, Okay, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I promise. Yuan Chen didn't argue further. He got straight to the point. It's not too late. Let's get back to business to help me make a professional workout plan. Liu Meng nodded, stood up and said, Let you go take a shower first. I'll give you a diet and workout plan later. You need to keep your body fat percentage stable, so you'll need to do a mix of cardio and gym workouts. Yuan Chen agreed. Got it. I'll start tomorrow once the plan's ready. Liu Menglu added, Yu Hotel has a gym. Let's use the one there. I'll go back tomorrow to grab my stuff and I'll pick up 2 sets of clothes for you while I'm at it. Just as she left, the system notification sounded. Detected that the host plans to start a fitness routine. A perfect life requires not only wealth, but also an improved and upgraded personal image. The host has recognized the importance of improving their image, activating fitness control panels successfully. Time-limited task, 1 month. Requirement, reach 75 kilograms and maintain a body fat percentage of 12 to 15%. Completion will grant the perfect body effect. Note, the perfect body effect lasts for 2 years. Yuan Chen glanced through the task and felt a surge of excitement. He thought to himself, the fitness dashboard, the system has this feature too. He clicked on it, and a series of information panels popped up right away. Height, 182 centimeters. Weight, 70 kilograms. Health index, 69. BMI, 21.1. Body fat percentage, 21%. Yuan Chen silently analyzed the details. The task only seemed to focus on weight and body fat percentage, so those would be the 2 factors he needed to concentrate on. Suddenly, his eyes caught on an unfamiliar button. What's this? He clicked it, and a list of subcategories appeared one after another. Business management, investment management, impromptu speaking, human resources management. Looking at the long list, Yuan Chen began to realize, so fitness is just one part of the system. There are tons of other skills, and as long as I complete the tasks, I can unlock them all. With this system in place, things that would normally take people years to master, I could learn in just a month. This is amazing. Thinking about it, a small smile crept across his face. The scene shifts to the next day. Liu Menglu wakes up early and brings food to the hotel. She raises the lunchbox and winks at Yuan Chen, saying, the breakfast at the hotel has too many calories, so I made a special diet meal for you for breakfast and lunch. Here you go, I've been up since 6:30 this morning to prepare it. Yuan Chen opens the lunchbox and is impressed by how appealing everything looks. He exclaims, this looks so rich. Not bad. Coach Liu. Liu Menglu steps closer to him, puts her hands on her hips and reminds him, you better appreciate how hard I worked. Don't make me go through what I did last night again. Hearing this, Yuan Chen casually asks, you only felt tortured, didn't feel anything else? Liu Menglu's face immediately turns red. Flustered, she urges him, you're so clever. You're so clever. Just eat already. After they finish eating, they head down to the gym. Looking at her with the confidence of someone who already knows she's won, Yuan Chen just mumbles a half-hearted in reply. A moment later, they arrive at the hotel's Junyu gym. Liu Menglu's stunning figure causes the men in the gym to stop in their tracks. Every one of them thinks to themselves, when did our gym get such a gorgeous female trainer? Her body is incredible. Liu Menglu bent down to adjust the machine. One guy sitting behind her caught a glimpse of her slim waist and toned back and immediately covered his lower body, trying to calm himself down. He thought to himself, I can't look anymore. If I do, I'll end up reacting. Nearby, a muscular guy glanced at Liu Menglu before looking at Yuan Chen, a smug smile creeping up on his face. He thought to himself, a weak, clueless guy like him, who clearly doesn't work out at all, doesn't deserve a woman like her. What a waste. Maybe I should be the one she notices. Liu Menglu didn't pay any attention to them, keeping her focus on guiding Yuan Chen. Your movement needs to be wider, but don't overexert yourself. At that moment, Hao Jun, the guy from the other day, showed up. When he saw Yuan Chen, he was surprised and thought, isn't that Yuan Chen? Who's the angel by his side? Last time, this guy was out shopping for bags with some hot woman at the IFC mall, and now he's with someone else. Guess he's not doing too bad. Liu Menglu smiled and said to Yuan Chen, see, if you don't work out regularly, just a few moves and you're already exhausted. But for your first time, you're doing pretty well. Take a sip of water. Keep practicing at your own pace. Going too fast could cause an injury. Yuan Chen nodded and took the bottle of water from Liu Menglu. He tilted his head back to drink and smiled as he said, well, that means I can always have hot tofu. Liu Menglu blushed when she heard that, feeling a little embarrassed. She playfully scolded him. You're so annoying. Hao Jun, standing off to the side, watched the scene with growing frustration. He angrily thought to himself, this damn kid is having fun with his new fling, while I can't even get a hold of Zhu Wanting. Her phone's off, WeChat's blocked, and I have no idea where she lives. I don't even know why we broke up. It's driving me crazy. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Then, an idea suddenly crossed his mind. Wait a minute. Wasn't this guy flirting with 2 women at the same time? I have to expose him for what he really is. Women usually turn on guys who pull stuff like that. Let's see how he ends up. With that thought, he stepped toward Yuan Chen, talking as he walked. Yuan Chen, what a coincidence, you're here too. Yuan Chen gave him a quick glance before responding. It's you. What's up? Got something to say? Hu Chen, with a bold grin, replied in a friendly tone, It's no big deal. I just saw someone I know and wanted to say hi. Yuan Chen, hearing this, didn't let it bother her. She turned to Liu Menglu and said, If there's nothing else, let's continue. Though Liu Menglu felt a bit annoying, she decided to brush it off, thinking to herself, Let it go, don't let it affect me. Hu Chen, still pleased with himself, thought, You want me to lead just like that? Ha, I'm not done yet. He then asked Yuan Chen, What happened to the girl you brought to the IFC last time? Why isn't she with you today? You two seemed really close that day. You even bought her a bunch of stuff, right? He couldn't hide his excitement, thinking, if they're really a couple, she'll totally react. She'll get mad and probably turn on him right there. Come on, I can't wait to see this drama unfold. But despite his provocation, neither Yuan Chen nor Liu Menglu reacted. They just kept focusing on their training. Hu Chen, puzzled, wondered, no reaction? Could it be that these two aren't actually in that kind of relationship? Refusing to give up, he stepped closer to Liu Menglu, stammering, Hey, did you hear that? Yuan Chen could no longer stand the disgusting look on Hu Jun's face and spoke up sharply. Hu Jun, that's enough? Why are you getting involved in all this? Are we really that close? When Liu Menglu didn't respond, Hu Jun quickly added, Let me tell you something. It's easy to know someone's face, but hard to know their heart. That guy, he's just a player who tricks girls. You shouldn't let him fool you. Liu Menglu's face tightened in frustration at his words. She snapped back, Even if he's that kind of person, I'm still happy to be with him. You don't need to worry about it. Hu Jun, not satisfied, went on, I'm telling you, that guy even bought the other girl 2 bags worth $1 million. I'm only warning you because I care about you. Liu Menglu blushed a little, but with a cheerful smile, she looked at Yuan Chen and replied, So what? It's his money, he can spend it however he wants. As long as he's happy, I'm happy too. She smiled smugly, thinking to herself, Who cares if he bought 2 bags for someone else? Yuan Chen bought me a car worth over 200 million. Hu Jun gritted his teeth in anger, wondering to himself, What's going on? This girl knows she's being toyed with, yet she's still so happy. What exactly is the relationship between them? Liu Menglu turned to him, visibly annoyed, and said, Please move a little farther away. Your face is really distracting while we're trying to train. As she spoke, she gently wiped the sweat off Yuan Chen's face. Fuming, Hu Jun spun around and muttered, What kind of people are these? This is just ridiculous. Meanwhile, Yuan Chen was relaxed, enjoying Liu Menglu's care. He thought to himself, My personal trainer and housekeeper all in one. My position is clear. Why should I care about all this? Next time someone wants to badmouth me, they should at least do their homework first. Liu Menglu spoke softly, Yuan Chen, let's continue. 2 hours later, as Liu Menglu helped Yuan Chen stretch, she complimented him, You did great today. Your moves were spot on, but tomorrow we'll need to increase the intensity. Wiping his sweat, Yuan Chen grinned mischievously and asked, So I'll step up the intensity for you at night and you'll do the same for me during the day? Are you getting back at me or something? Liu Menglu tilted her head, blushed, and responded sweetly. No, it's not like that. Today, I was mostly just getting used to the movements and the machines. Once I'm comfortable, I'll definitely lift heavier weights. Yuan Chen looked at her, no longer teasing, and said, All right, your muscles are stretched out pretty well now. Let's head back and take a shower. The two quickly went back to the room and headed into the bathroom together. Under the warm water, Yuan Chen pulled Liu Menglu close and teasingly said, Coach Liu, there's still one spot we need to get more familiar with. There was no doubt about it, and they continued their playful battle in the bathroom. A while later, Liu Menglu stepped out of the shower and curiously asked, Honey, Daddy, are you heading back to school tonight, or? Yuan Chen quickly replied, I have something to do tonight, so you can stay here. Liu Menglu, towel in hand, said, This place is too big. I don't feel comfortable staying here alone. I'll just go back to my small apartment and sleep there. Yuan Chen didn't have any objections, just saying, All right, you handle it. Oh, and call me one more time. Liu Menglu quickly sat on the sink, giving him a playful look as she seductively said, What? Oh, Daddy. Yuan Chen glanced at the number 88 above Liu Menglu's head and quietly thought to himself, From last night until now, her favorability toward me has gone up by 2 points. Looks like hitting 90 isn't too far off. I really can't wait for that magical reward from the system. Scene shift. At school. Fu Yingzai stood by the stairs with her follower. When Yuan Chen saw him, he thought to himself, This guy is still sticking around, huh? Fu Yingzi quickly walked up to Yuan Chen and lowered her head, saying, Yuan Chen, I'm sorry, but he insists on following me. I've told him several times to stop, but he just won't listen. Feng Zhegui, overhearing this, immediately followed Fu Yingzi and spoke up. Don't blame Yingzi. It's me who insisted on coming. I thought I might be able to help. After all, the more people, the stronger we are. Yuan Chen sighed, opened the door, and coldly said, Really, it's not necessary. Can't help with this. Without another word, Yuan Chen slammed the door shut, leaving Feng Zhegui standing outside. He looked at the closed curtain and wondered. Only Yuan Chen and Yingzi are inside, and the door's locked, curtains drawn. What are they up to? It's just a study room. Why would they need to draw the curtains? Strange, unsettling thoughts kept flashing through Feng Zhegui's mind. He was panicking, clutching his head, and whispered to himself, Yingzi, could it be? Just then, Yuan Chen walked into the room, sat down in a chair, and asked, How's the progress on the promotion? Fu Yingzi quickly reported that posters and promotional content are already up. It's on the public account, Weibo, and even on the school's confession wall. Views and engagement are looking good. The new startup plan still needs a bit more time. Yuan Chen calmly offered his opinion. I'm thinking of creating another promotional push to make it even more high profile. Fu Yingzi tilted her head, curious. How exactly do you plan to do that? Do you need me to help with anything? Yuan Chen smiled and responded, Let's link my image to the startup district so all the international students know that I'm the one investing in it. You can post some catchy articles or captions. For example, oh my gosh, our campus startup district just got an investment of $100 million. Who would have thought that a startup funded by students here could attract such a huge investment? Crazy, right? Our school really has a mysterious billionaire in the background, but definitely don't reveal who it is yet. Let people stay curious for a bit. Fu Yingzi nodded and said, We'll gradually release small bits of information, building up their curiosity until they're completely hooked and start guessing. Once the excitement reaches its peak, that's when you'll make your appearance, right? In her mind, she thought, I don't really understand why Yuan Chen wants to put himself in the spotlight like this, but that's not for me to worry about. My job is just to follow his instructions. Yuan Chen pointed toward Fu Yingzi, confirming, exactly. By doing it this way, the hype will definitely skyrocket, and the number of people signing up for the startup will explode. Once we have enough data, we'll be able to filter out the best startup projects more effectively. He quietly thought to himself, First, I'll build my reputation at school and in the education field. Second, this will make it easier to recruit high-quality seniors and juniors. Third, once I invest the 10 million, I'll get a reward, a new industry from the system. Yuan Chen reminded her. Also, to get the best results, we absolutely cannot leak any information in the early stages. Are you running into any problems? Fu Yingzi quickly responded, All right, we can have the official accounts post first, and then use the secondary accounts to comment and boost the popularity. Yuan Chen heard this and closed his eyes for a moment, casually exhaling as he said, Okay, let's go with that. Now, let's talk about you. Without wasting any time, Yuan Chen asked directly, What do you want from me? The question caught Fu Yingzi off guard. Her eyes lowered, and she fell silent, deep in thought. She hadn't expected Yuan Chen to be so upfront. At first, I really just wanted to see if I could develop a romantic relationship with you. But now, it seems like not only do you already have a girlfriend, but you also don't seem to have any feelings for me, she said quietly, then forced a smile and continued, Next semester, I'll start my internship. But you know, for students in a private school like ours, it's not easy to find a job, especially with my major in marketing. So I thought that if I could work with you, maybe I'd be able to earn a higher salary than with any normal job out there. After listening to her, Yuan Chen thought to himself, after all, she's just a college student. She's still a bit shy. If she had come out and said directly that she wanted me, we could have just gone with the flow and taken things a step further. However, Yuan Chen didn't clarify. Instead, he asked her, You mentioned a higher salary. How much exactly are we talking about? Fu Yingzi hesitated for a moment before finally stating the number, 8,000. Inside, she still felt a bit unsure. When she thought about it, her industry, just after graduation, usually offered a salary of around $3,000 to $4,000 per month, so $8,000 was already 2 or 3 times the salary of a new graduate. Yuan Chen leaned back in his chair and casually said, I'll add 2,000 to that to round it off. If you perform well, there will also be bonuses and rewards. You'll work with me from now on. Yuan Chen's words left Fu Yingzi stunned, and she couldn't help but think, Yuan Chen is offering me such a high salary, but wait, does work with me mean something more? While she was lost in thought, suddenly Feng Zhegui's voice came from outside. Yingzi, are you two done talking? Why is it taking so long? The voice grew louder and louder, which annoyed Yuan Chen. He thought to himself, That clingy fool is really embarrassing men. Fu Yingzai turned toward the door and quickly said, "Sorry, let me go talk to him." Yuan Chen quickly called her back. "Hold on a second. I'll take a little loss, so we can settle this once and for all." Fu Yingzi stopped surprised. She asked, "What?" Without answering, Yuan Chen walked up to her, leaned down, and placed a strong kiss on her neck. The bright red mark immediately stood out against her pale skin. Once done, he calmly said, "Let's go." Yuan Chen wrapped his arm around Fu Yingzi's waist and opened the door, stepping outside. As they walked, he added, "Yingzi, from now on, we need a no-entry sign on the door to keep any clueless guys from trying to get in." When Feng Zheguai saw the hickey, he rushed over, panicked, and demanded, "Yingzi, what is this?" Fu Yingzi frowned and said coldly, "Don't come looking for me again. I have a boyfriend now." That sentence hit Feng Zheguai like a thunderstrike. He pointed at Yuan Chen and demanded, "Boyfriend, since when did you two become a couple?" Fu Yingzi gave him a frosty look and slowly replied, "Just now. Please keep your distance from me from now on. If not, both Yuan Chen and I will be very bothered." Feng Zheguai stood frozen, the words hitting him hard. He collapsed to the ground, tears streaming down his face as he mumbled, "No, this can't be. Yingzi wouldn't do this." As soon as the guy tailing them stormed off in frustration, Yuan Chen stood behind, quietly smiling to himself. "Sorry, buddy. Face the facts. Financial power is unbeatable." At this moment, Fu Yingzi was still in his arms, shyly asking, "Yuan Chen, I think that's enough, right?" Without hesitation, Yuan Chen released his hold, answering coolly, "Yeah, he probably won't bother you anymore. If there's nothing else, I'll head out now." With that, he walked away, leaving Fu Yingzi standing there, gazing after him in a daze. Back in his room, Yuan Chen casually sat down on the bed, thinking to himself, "Honestly, Fu Yingzai is really good at being a secretary, but I'm not sure I'm ready to manage a whole company just yet. Without real expertise, even with a lot of money, I'd just be another new player in the eyes of others. It's best to quickly activate all the knowledge I've got to level up my skills." He opened the system and quickly selected the business and trade management section. Yuan Chen thought to himself, "Let's start from here. Although there are some required courses at school, like basic business administration and introduction to management, every time I think about what I have to learn, I feel anxious and unsure." As soon as he opened the course section, the information started popping up. He realized that in order to study business administration and manage a company well, he would need to master a lot of specialized knowledge. The system then activated the business management dashboard. This task had a 1-month deadline. If he mastered the key concepts of basic business administration, the system would unlock all the knowledge from the M3 program. A wealth of knowledge from top-tier universities' advanced MBA programs would be loaded into his mind. Yuan Chen skimmed through the details, impressed. M3 even emphasizes the combination of theory and practice, and these are from some of the top universities in the world, the best in economics. But he thought mastering all of this essential knowledge in such a short time wouldn't be easy. Then suddenly he remembered something. Oh right, my academic advisor is a genius with dual degrees and business administration was her first degree. Suddenly, a message alert went off. Yuan Chen quickly pulled out his phone and read, "Are you there? Want to grab a few drinks with me tonight?" Seeing that the message was from the owner of his old coffee shop, Yuan Chen was a bit surprised. He smiled to himself, thinking, "I knew this was coming after last time." But he quickly replied, "I've got plans tonight. How about tomorrow night instead?" Hearing this, the coffee shop owner, Lin, felt a little empty inside. She sighed and mumbled to herself, "Tomorrow night? Why do I have to wait another whole day like this?" An hour later, Feng Minhu walked in, cheerful and excited, asking, "Yuan Chen, finally. How do I look today? Do you think it suits me?" Yuan Chen walked over to her and softly said, "Of course, Minhu, you look great in anything." The two quickly got lost in their own little world. Yuan Chen thought to himself, "Well, it's settled then. If Lin wants to date me, she'll have to wait her turn." A while later, after everything had calmed down, Minhu's affection level jumped to 93. Watching her with a relaxed look on his face, Yuan Chen silently calculated. Her affection for me went from 91 to 93. Seems like I just uncovered a pattern. Once it hits 90, the growth slows down, it gets harder. But if you look at it from another perspective, the higher the difficulty, the better the reward. It feels a lot like overcoming a tough level in a game. He turned to kiss Feng Minhui softly on the cheek, then whispered, "I told you I'd help you look for a place last time. If you're free this week, I can take you around to check some out." Feng Minhui heard this and, feeling happy, wrapped her arms around Yuan Chen's neck and laughed out loud. "Sure, I'd love that. Love you." The next morning, as soon as Feng Minhui stepped onto campus, she overheard an excited conversation among a group of people. A few of them were talking about posters and articles promoting the startup area, but it seemed like the school's social media account that had posted the information wasn't run by any actual students. One of the girls in the group couldn't hold back and said, "Are you kidding? All the rich kids at this school just spend their parents' money on partying and living the high life. There's no way any of them would invest in the startup area. I can't believe our school has students that talented. I mean, who'd be worth hundreds of millions and still come here to study? Sounds unbelievable." Fang Minhu's best friend, who was listening to the gossip, couldn't resist the urge to speak up. She glanced at Fang Minhui and whispered, "I really want to say something to them. What should I do?" Fang Minhui hurriedly stepped forward to stop her, trying to hold back her frustration. "Don't say that. Yuan Chen hasn't given permission to talk yet." Her best friend, seeing this, winked mischievously at Fang Minhui and teased, "Look at you. You have no idea what Yuan Chen is thinking. It's like walking around in a fancy outfit at night, just waiting to get caught. And you're living the dream being loved by Yuan Chen like some rich, handsome god. Hui Han, why don't you ask him if he needs a nanny or a maid? Honestly, I don't want to try anymore." Fang Binhu placed her hand on her best friend's shoulder and asked, "So, you mean like a live-in nanny, always by his side?" Her friend pointed to herself and replied, "Nice try, Min Hui. You think I want to be the third wheel? Sure, I'd love to, but he doesn't even notice me." She lightly tugged at Feng Minhu's sleeve and added, "But you're the real deal. I bet last night he was probably going wild, right?" Feng Minhu's face turned bright red and she whispered, "Hey, stop messing around." Her friend wasn't done yet. She leaned in and asked, "Come on, tell me, is that true?" "True." Feng Minhu could hardly argue, her face even more flushed as she lightly scolded, "You're impossible." On the other side, a short-haired girl looking somewhat familiar rushed in and said to Yu Ping, who was sitting there, "Have you seen this? I heard a student invested $100 million into that startup zone." Yu Ping quickly responded, "Yeah, I saw. I'm not stupid. If you believe every rumor, you're just letting yourself be led around." The short-haired girl holding her phone looked really excited and said, "I thought the same thing. That's $100 million. If you're putting that much into a startup, your assets must be in the billions by now. If our school really has someone that big, I'd totally chase after them." Yu Ping skeptically questioned her. "That's a nice dream, but you think someone that rich will even notice you?" The short-haired girl quickly regained her composure and started analyzing. "Honestly, if someone really invested that much, they'd have shown their face by now. $100 million? People like that can't hide behind the scenes for long. If they're not doing it to brag, then why would they even bother? It's really hard to make sense of." Yu Ping agreed, responding, "True. Just look at Yuan Chen. He's got a little bit of money and already acts all high and mighty. He's messing around outside and even opened a coffee shop for some random woman." The short-haired girl quickly chimed in. "That's right. Last time we barely said anything, and he already made a fool of us. Don't even mention that trash of a man again." In no time, gossip spread throughout the entire campus. Meanwhile, Yuan Chen continued carrying out his plan step by step with calm determination. As he opened the car door, he spoke into his phone. "Hey, I need a favor. I want to focus on the key concepts for the Foundations of Management course. Could you guide me through it?" On the other end of the line, Lag Xiao was immediately suspicious. "What are you up to this time, Yuan Chen?" Yuan Chen answered calmly, "I really want to take my studies seriously." Though still uncertain, Lag Xiao replied, "Oh, really? All right then." Hearing her consent, Yuan Chen pressed the gas pedal and, while driving, said, "I'm almost at your place." Before he could finish, Lag Xiao urgently asked, "You're coming to my house? You're not planning anything weird, are you?" Yuan Chen adopted a sincere tone. "You know me, I'd never do anything like that." When Lag Xiao fell silent, he quickly added, "Don't worry, teacher." A little while later, Yuan Chen was standing at the door of Lag Xiao's house. She opened the door and seriously warned him, "Yuan Chen, before you come in, you have to promise me one thing. You absolutely can't act like last time." Yuan Chen nodded and sincerely replied, "I promise." Lag Xiao, still a bit doubtful, asked again, "Are you sure?" Yuan Chen put on a serious face and answered firmly, "I'm sure." Finally, Lag Xiao softened and opened the door for him, saying, "All right, come in." As soon as Yuan Chen sat down, Lag Xiao handed him a book and said, "This is the basic management textbook I used back in college. I've already marked the important sections in the first 3 chapters. These are the kinds of things you just have to memorize. When you study, try to connect the concepts to real-life situations. It'll help you remember faster." Yuan Chen cheerfully took the book and replied, "Got it. I'll memorize it right now." They both studied seriously for a full period. Suddenly, Yuan Chen propped his chin up and stared at Lag Xiao, making her feel a little flustered. She quickly asked, "Why aren't you studying anymore? What are you staring at? Focus on the book." Yuan Chen looked up and in a playful tone said, "Teacher, how can the book be as beautiful as you?" Lai Xiao blushed immediately and nervously asked, "Here we go again. You promised you come here to focus on studying seriously." Yuan Chen quickly moved closer to her and said, "I am here to study seriously, but I also want you to be my girlfriend. Those two things are contradictory." Lai Xiao stood up right away and walked off, her face red and stammering, "What are you talking about?" Yuan Chen wasn't giving up. He stepped forward, pulled her into an embrace, and said, "I'm not joking. I'm really serious, I swear, teacher." Lai Xiao, slightly flustered, reminded him, "Don't do that. Yuan Chen, my little sister, is sleeping in the next room." Yuan Chen whispered softly, "She's at home. It's fine. We can even make our relationship official with her." Lai Xiao weakly protested, "Let go, I never agreed to this." Yuan Chen lifted her chin and said, "You'll agree eventually, teacher." With that, he kissed her deeply. Lai Xiao, caught off guard, found herself dazed. She thought to herself, before entering the house, he was so sure of himself, and now just one class later, here we are. Men really can't be trusted. Even though her mind was spinning from the intense kiss, Lai Xiao immediately grabbed Yuan Chen's wrist as his hand moved lower. She looked at him seriously, her face full of urgency, and stopped him. "No, Yuan Chen, not there. Absolutely not." Lai Meng sleepily walked out of her room. Rubbing her eyes, she opened the door but froze when she saw the intimate scene between Yuan Chen and Lai Xiao. A bunch of questions ran through her head. What's going on here? Are they really doing this right on the couch without any care? When did my sister become so bold? She quickly turned around and rushed back into her room, slamming the door behind her. Lai Xiao's face turned bright red as she pushed Yuan Chen away. Annoyed, she shouted, "What are you doing? My little sister saw everything." Yuan Chen sat up, leaning in close to Lai Xiao and whispering in her ear. She was going to find out sooner or later. Wouldn't it be better to tell her now? Lai Xiao turned her head away, pulling her shirt back on while pouting. "No, it's not better. Yuan Chen, you're so annoying. I haven't even agreed to be your girlfriend yet, and now I have no idea how to explain this to my sister." Yuan Chen sat up straight and gently placed his hand on Lai Xiao's shoulder. He looked at her seriously and asked, "Do you like me?" Lai Xiao was caught off guard by the sudden question and hesitated. She thought to herself, "Well, if I'm being honest, I do like him a little, but we're just teacher and student." The more she thought about it, the more her feelings for Yuan Chen seemed to grow, and she could feel her affection for him increase to 71%. Yuan Chen noticed the change and felt a surge of happiness inside. Her affection for him had gone up by 2 points. Though it wasn't much, it was still progress. He thought, she's not being practical. Trying to win her over with money won't work. Time will show my sincerity, and she'll come to understand it eventually. Then Yuan Chen smiled softly at Lai Xiao and said, "It's okay, I'm not giving up." His words left Lai Xiao momentarily stunned and feeling awkward. After saying that, Yuan Chen stood up and walked toward the door. He turned around with a smile and said, "I'll go now. See you next time." Once he left, Lai Xiao hesitated for a moment before shyly calling after him, "You don't need to hide anymore. Come out." Lai Meng quickly opened the door, her face flushed, and stepped out. As she walked over, she asked, "Is it all done?" Lai Xiao stood up and started to gather her books from the table, replying, "Yeah." Lai Meng curiously sat down next to Lai Xiao and asked, "Sis, have you made things official with him yet? Should I start calling him brother-in-law now?" She looked at her sister, clearly surprised. Lai Xiao awkwardly replied, "Actually, not yet." Lai Meng frowned, clearly shocked. "Not yet? You two haven't made it official, but you've already done that?" Lai Xiao hesitated, her gaze dropping. "We haven't gotten to the final step yet." Lai Meng, confused, asked, "Then what exactly do you want, sis?" Lai Xiao looked lost and gave a vague response. "I'm not really sure myself." Lai Meng stared at her, her eyes sharp as if seeing through her. "You clearly love him already. You just don't want to admit it." That evening at Halma Cafe, Yuan Chen casually walked up behind Lin Yu Chang. As soon as she saw him, she greeted him cheerfully. "Yuan Chen, I'm sorry, but I've been feeling a little confused lately, so I just wanted to talk to you for a bit. Hope I'm not bothering you?" Yuan Chen sat down across from her, gently asking, "It's no problem, Miss Lin. What's going on? You don't look very happy." Lin Yu Chang was silent for a moment before speaking up. "Zhang Jinyang is getting more and more out of hand. He stays out all night, and lately, he doesn't even try to hide it. Every time he comes home, he reeks of some other woman." She gradually let her guard down, thinking to herself, "If he's messing around outside, then I can go out drinking and chatting too. After all, I'm not doing anything wrong. So what if I really did give him a taste of his own medicine? He's already wearing a whole forest of horns himself." Lin Yu Chang leaned forward, hesitating a bit before asking, "Yuan Chen, is Chen Nei your girlfriend?" Yuan Chen answered calmly, I guess you could say that. Lin Yuchang asked again, then if you go out drinking with me, does she know? Yuan Chen picked up his glass, took a small sip, and replied, she doesn't know. But even if she did, she wouldn't mind. Lin Yuchang, already feeling a bit tipsy, thought dreamily, I see now. If that's the case, I won't feel guilty anymore. After all, I don't want to interfere with someone else's relationship. With a flushed face, she hesitated for a moment before shyly saying, Yuan Chen, could you hug me? Just once. Yuan Chen didn't refuse. He shifted over to make space beside him, patted the spot, and said, well, come over then. Lin Yuchang cooperatively braced herself with her hands and quickly stood up, then walked over to Yuan Chen. She sat on his lap in an intimate way. While gently rubbing her leg, Yuan Chen asked, you came out for a drink with me. Does he know? Leaning in close to him, Lin Yuchang softly replied, don't mention his name. As soon as she said that, she suddenly kissed Yuan Chen on the lips, catching him a little off guard. For a brief moment, he thought to himself, I'm here at Nana's cafe with another woman. Yeah, I feel guilty toward her. But the rush of desire was too strong to hold back, and he cursed inwardly, forget it. I'm a lousy guy anyway. Why overthink it? With that thought, Yuan Chen began to return her kiss, and without realizing it, his hand started to move. Lin Yuchang immediately grabbed his hand and, blushing, reminded him, no. Still relaxed, he asked with a playful tone, why not? You wanted to stay completely restrained. She was flustered, but still firmly offered, Yuan Chen, let me help you. Holding her in his arms, Yuan Chen gently said, that won't do. Tonight I want to try something different. They stayed wrapped up in each other, their closeness growing. Lin Yuchang felt lightheaded, drifting into a dreamlike state as if she were in heaven. After a long moment of intimacy, Lin Yuchang often sat panting in the chair. Yuan Chen lifted his head, pointed downward, and said, help me clean up. Lin Yuchang obediently complied. While she was doing so, Yuan Chen couldn't help but think to himself. When he was younger, he hadn't understood the value of a married woman, mistakenly thinking that young unmarried women were the real treasures. But now he realized how wrong he had been. Lin Yuchang's affection score gradually rose to 63. Yuan Chen was surprised and thought to himself, this is truly rare. Normally, for relationships with people of the opposite sex to reach this level, they would have to exceed a 60 affection score, but she achieved it after everything had already ended. Suddenly, the system's notification sound rang out. Congratulations, host, you've achieved 5 NPCs with an affection score above 60. You've completed the phase mission. A perfect life must, of course, have enough admiration from the opposite sex. The system was about to award the prizes: 2 effective study cards, 1 exclusive skill pack exchange card, 2 perfect life lottery tickets. Reading the notification, Yuan Chen felt a sense of joy and thought, I didn't expect the system to evaluate not just affection, but also the number of NPCs. Let's see if there are any special rewards this time. As Yuan Chen spoke, he selected an option in the system. Immediately, information about the effective study card appeared. When reading books, you can remember things for a long time and not forget them. Each card will help solidify knowledge in your mind, the system explained. Yuan Chen thought to himself, this gift really is a surprise. It's definitely something valuable. Before, memorizing textbooks was so slow, but now I can actually learn with this card. In just a few hours, I can complete the time-limited task for the business management course. The system chimed again with another notification. Draw from the perfect life rewards with a chance to get various types of cards, potential attributes, real items, assets, and cash. The more Yuan Chen read, the more excited he became. This is an amazing system. I have a feeling the reward this time will be even more powerful. If I could get something that increases size and strength, that would be great. At that moment, Lin Yuchang walked over. Seeing Yuan Chen smiling so brightly, she said, it looks like you're really happy. The energy between people really can be contagious. I've felt so good these past 30 minutes, like a kind of joy I've never experienced before. Yuan Chen just sat there, staring at her without saying anything. Lin Yuchang didn't say much either. She adjusted her dress and then said, all right, Yuan Chen, I should be heading back now. Next time, we'll continue. The moment those words left her mouth, Yuan Chen froze, thinking to himself, next time, does she want to drag this out? In the bathroom, Yuan Chen silently scrolled through the lively comments online. Our international business school, no one drives supercars. If the poster wants to make things up, they should at least be more careful. Don't even talk about international or business schools. There aren't any students in our international cooperation program with supercars either. The poster is definitely lying, didn't even bother preparing properly. People are just treating this as a joke. Making stuff up doesn't cost anything anyway. As he skimmed through the screen, he muttered, these are the screenshots of the comments that Fu Yingzi sent over. Fu Yingzi replied, people cursing is actually a good thing. Doubt spark discussion and get the buzz going. You should quickly make a suggestion and you can slowly reveal some details. For example, you don't need to mention names, just say what department you're in, your major, what year, and which class you're in. Yuan Chen quickly agreed with the idea. He set his phone down on the sink, washed his face casually, then said, "Forget about the project for now. It's time to see what surprises the system has in store for me next." The information quickly appeared on the screen. The current user has 2 reward draws left. Would you like to draw now? Without hesitation, Yuan Chen quickly selected yes. The first reward immediately appeared with an eye-catching notification. Congratulations, you have received a 500 square meter store at Yunqi Yeyuan. Please visit the Yunqi Yeyuan Sales Center to claim your prize within 1 week. Yuan Chen was very pleased with this reward. He smiled and said, "I can't believe it's a store in Yunqi Yeyuan. That's the most high-end real estate area in Xinjiang. Getting this store means extra income. Even if I don't run the shop myself, I could rent it out and be the landlord." He raised his hand again and selected to draw the second reward. The system quickly chimed in with another notification. Congratulations, you have received 2 attribute adjustment tokens for your physique. Yuan Chen read the notification and was surprised. Can I really adjust my physique attributes? Does that mean I could just change my body fat or weight and complete my fitness goals right away? Looking at his physique chart, Yuan Chen thought for a moment before making a decision. As a skinny guy, it's pretty hard for me to gain weight. I'll adjust my weight then. The system received the request and immediately displayed a message indicating that it was editing the value for the host. By default, each attribute point would add 2 kilograms to the weight. The progress of the edit was updated. Editing in progress. Yuan Chen looked at himself in the mirror and could clearly see the change. Just a moment later, the system notified him that the attribute modification was successful. Yuan Chen was pleased and happily said, "Is it done already? Let me check." Adding the weight increase that Coach Liu had helped him with earlier, Yuan Chen quietly did the math. With a 5 kilograms muscle gain from a single increase, he was still a bit away from his training goal, but the change was already noticeable. Attribute points really are amazing, he thought to himself. Confident, Yuan Chen silently analyzed the situation. Right now, I can clearly see the pattern of the system. First, increasing favorability triggers a reward. Second, when the number of NPCs with high favorability reaches a certain level, the reward is activated. This means I need to keep expanding my relationships with more members. Yuan Chen reached out to swipe through the system, speaking as he worked. I originally planned to learn while also getting closer to my mentor, but now, with this effective learning card, I'll have even more topics to talk about with my mentor. In the following days, while juggling both studying and practicing, Yuan Chen also bought an MC-20 for Chen Na, while he drove a G63 himself. Cut to the Foreign Job Promotion Association. Outside the conference hall, students were gathered, chatting excitedly as they waited. One person said, "Did you guys see that? I heard the investor for the startup zone is an international business major from the Business Academy, and he's driving a G63. Another replied, "Just like the comment said, it's easy to make up stories, but who actually does that?" Someone else jumped in. "That car cost at least $3 million. No way someone driving such an expensive car would be studying at a second-rate private school like ours. Stop making things up and get ready for the seminar instead." A different voice scoffed. "But the International Cooperation Seminar at our school isn't even organized by big companies or state-owned enterprises. It's all small businesses from different cities." Fast forward to Friday at the school's small conference hall. Yu Ping walked in and upon seeing a familiar face asked, "Hey, didn't your family start a company? Why are you here at this seminar too?" Lai Zhanpeng adjusted his suit, his tone serious as he replied, "I'm here to learn from the strategies and experiences of other companies. After all, running a business can't just stand still. You have to keep up with the times." Yu Ping's short-haired friend stepped forward, shyly pointing at herself and asking, "Senior, if I can't find an internship, could I apply to your company?" Lai Zhanpeng answered generously, "If you're interested, just submit your application. With me backing you up, it shouldn't be a problem." The 2 girls looked at him with warm, grateful expressions, exclaiming, "Really? Thank you so much, Senior." Lai Zhanpeng extended his hand toward them and continued, "Ladies, if you haven't found an internship yet, feel free to apply to my company. We're all alumni, so I'll definitely do my best to help." The guys overheard and were both irritated and amused, whispering, "This guy didn't come to this seminar. He's clearly here to show off and hit on girls. So shameless about it. And of course, he has to make us look bad while he's at it. If only Lao San were here, he'd pour a bucket of water on him just to get some satisfaction." The short-haired girl leaned in and whispered to Yu Ping, "Our senior is not only great at what he does, but he's also humble. He's nothing like Yuan Chen, who only knows how to open a coffee shop to flirt with married women. Someone who opens a coffee shop and someone who runs a company. It's like comparing night and day. Yuan Chen seriously has no taste, and he's so painfully out of touch. Yu Ping frowned, clearly irritated, and spoke up to remind them, don't bring him up again. The last time he treated us like that, no class at all. My good impression of him is completely gone now. Lai Zhanpeng walked over and said, Yu Ping, are you free this afternoon? After the seminar, how about we grab a meal together? She smiled and quickly agreed. But the mood around them changed in an instant when Yuan Chen's car suddenly pulled up, causing a stir among the crowd. Wait, are off-campus cars not allowed to enter? What's going on? Hold on, is that a G63? Yu Ping's group immediately turned to look. One of them gasped in surprise, a G63. I've been hearing everywhere lately about that student who spent a huge amount to invest in the startup zone, and he's the one driving that G63. The short-haired girl eagerly added, if that rich guy is really from our school, he's definitely someone worth getting to know way more than the senior. Yu Ping thought to herself, if I could get to know him, I'd totally ditch the senior this afternoon. Yuan Chen stopped the car, rolled down the window, looked outside, and called out loudly, Huang, Kao, what are you two doing here? Get in, I'm heading back to the dorm. Yu Ping and her friend, who were nearby, froze when they saw Yuan Chen and thought to themselves, Yuan Chen, why is he the one driving the car? Her short-haired friend turned pale and skeptically said, the driver is Yuan Chen. At that moment, Yuan Chen's roommate, on the verge of tears, thought to herself, he's here, he's really here. He drove all the way here. Huang Haibao muttered a curse under his breath. This guy, he shows up at the perfect time. Yu Ping suddenly lost all patience and rushed to press her cheek against the car window, trying to see inside. She couldn't believe her eyes and thought, no way, there must be someone else in the car. Yuan Chen is just the driver. Her actions made Yuan Chen feel at a loss for words. Huang Haibao and Si Haiqiao walked over to her and teased. What are you whispering about? Being sneaky, huh? Huang Haibao stepped forward, opened the car door, and turned to Yu Ping. Move aside, my buddy and I need to get in. His words instantly snapped Yu Ping back to reality. She immediately became embarrassed, her face turning bright red. After Yuan Chen drove off, the girl with short hair stood there, stunned. She thought to herself, a family that rich is living right next to me, and I had no idea. Still in shock, she turned to her friend and asked, do you think if we go apologize to Yuan Chen, he would forgive us? Yu Ping, just as confused, replied, I don't know. And just like that, the story of Yuan Chen, the handsome guy with the fancy car, spread quickly around the school, causing a buzz. The girls in the dorm couldn't stop talking about him. One of them, excited, said, from now on, my only goal is Yuan Chen. No need to say more. If you were a 50-year-old man, maybe some girls would hesitate, but Yuan Chen is just 21, tall, handsome. What's there to think about? Just go for it. Another girl, just as excited, grinned and said, I found his wedge hat. Watch me flirt with him. Her roommate, surprised, asked, aren't you already dating someone? The girl shrugged casually and replied, so what? If I could be with Yuan Chen, I'd drop my current boyfriend in a heartbeat. The further away he is, the better. At the student affairs office, a petite girl named Long Jinghan walked in. She gently called out, Sister Yingzi. Fu Yingzai turned around, surprised, and asked, Jinghan, what's up? What can I do for you? Long Jinghan blushed, a little shy, and asked hesitantly, you're working with Yuan Chen on the startup project, right? Could you introduce us so we can meet? Hearing this, Fu Yingzai raised an eyebrow and asked, but you're only a sophomore. Shouldn't you be focusing on taking over the radio station and doing well as the next station manager? Why are you thinking about starting a business? Long Jinghan, a bit embarrassed, replied, well, the job market is tough right now. I need to prepare ahead of time. Fu Yingzi looked at her blushing face and thought to herself, if I didn't know any better, I might actually believe her. Then Fu Yingzi paused for a moment, deep in thought. Jinghan was 5'6", with a full figure in all the right places and a slim waist, delicate features, and a great presence. Honestly, she'd be a perfect match to be Yuan Chen's girlfriend. After thinking it over for a second, Fu Yingzi suddenly scowled and muttered to herself, wait a minute, why am I playing matchmaker for Yuan Chen now? Oh my god. Brother Cao sat in the chair looking at Yuan Chen and asked, aren't you going to answer the phone or even look at it? Yuan Chen was lying back on the bed, casually replying, I don't feel like looking at it. It's making me uncomfortable. Brother Cao chuckled, his voice teasing, are you so put off by all the girls from your class adding you that it bothers you? Upon hearing this, Yuan Chen immediately sat up, held out his phone in front of Brother Cao, and grumbled, if they were girls, why would I be bothered? It's all these guys trying to get close to me. I'm not into that kind of attention. It's just so annoying. Suddenly, Huang Haibao handed over his phone and urgently said, Yuan Chen, all the girls who've been looking for you are adding me on WeChat now. Yuan Chen scratched his head and replied lazily, don't pay any attention to them. His calm attitude made both of his roommates so envious they were almost irritated. Huang Haibao gritted his teeth and said in frustration, Yuan Chen, you're unbelievable. Brother Kao and I have been in college for 3 years, still single as can be, haven't even caught a whiff of a girl's perfume, and you're out here getting attention like a fish in water. At that moment, Yuan Chen was focused on a notification from the system, mission reward. Each time you accumulate 500 prestige points, you'll receive 1 chance to draw for rewards. You can earn attribute points or special abilities. Note, prestige is the stat that reflects how admired you are by others, representing recognition and respect from others toward the host. This time, prestige points will only be counted within the scope of teachers and students at the university. After reading the notification, Yuan Chen began to think, if it weren't for having to complete the prestige mission for this system, I really wouldn't want to get involved in this kind of stuff. No matter how famous or talked about I am, if it doesn't bring any real benefits to my classmates, I still won't earn their genuine recognition and respect. To significantly increase prestige points, he probably had to wait until a real project was up and running. While thinking, he looked up and saw that his prestige points had gone up to 33. After pondering for a bit, Yuan Chen took out his phone, typed a message, and mumbled to himself, I should meet up with Fu Yingzi first. As soon as the message was sent, Fu Yingzi quickly replied. After agreeing to meet at the office, the phone rang. Yuan Chen quickly answered. Baby, what's up? Feng Minhu's voice came through sounding sweet. I heard you're at the school now. Where are you? Are you free to hang out with me today? Yuan Chen replied seriously. I'll come by your office at school. Just wait for me there. Inside, he thought to himself, I guess I'm becoming a public figure in the field of international relations now. To avoid any misunderstandings from the younger students, walking around with Hui Hui on campus would have to stop from now on. After setting up the meeting, Yuan Chen hung up the phone, stood up, and told his 2 roommates, I need to step out for a bit. Don't wait for me to come back and hang out. As he reached the door, he waved his hand back and called out, and don't worry, Huang brother, your spring will come eventually. The comforting words felt like salt in a wound to Huang Haibao, who angrily flicked Yuan Chen the bird and shouted, What the hell are you talking about? Summer's already here, and I'm still stuck dealing with this on my own. A little while later in the school office, as soon as Feng Minhui saw Yuan Chen, she ran over and hugged him tightly. Yuan Chen, I missed you. Yuan Chen quickly reminded her, let's talk inside. Feng Minhui obediently followed him in, chatting as they walked. You're famous now, you know? Every girl in school knows who you are. Yuan Chen calmly raised an eyebrow and asked, Is that so? Feng Minhui sat down on the chair, her expression a bit pouty, and replied, Yeah, some of your personal information got leaked online. Yuan Chen casually remarked, Those people really have too much free time. Feng Minhui stood up and walked over to the window, pulling down the curtain. While doing so, she subtly reminded him, a guy needs to know how to protect himself when he's out there, you know? Yuan Chen sat there confused and asked, Hui, I can take care of myself, but what does that have to do with closing the window? Feng Minhu blushed, taking off her lingerie as she responded, It does matter. I mean, I can handle things here too. Yuan Chen, do you want this? Upon hearing that, Yuan Chen quickly replied, No way, Hui, I already have someone else coming over to discuss something. Despite that, Feng Minhui still took his hand and playfully said, Yuan Chen, just get up, please. She moved closer, adjusting her position, and once finished, shyly asked Yuan Chen, How is it? Do you like it? Yuan Chen nodded, satisfied. At that moment, Fu Yingzi was standing outside the door, and when she heard a sound coming from inside, she stopped and thought, that noise doesn't sound quite right. Curious, she pressed her ear to the door and listened for a moment before her face turned bright red. The sound of cards being shuffled is so clear, she thought to herself. The boss called me here just to hear this. Fu Yingzi quickly ran to a corner of the room and stood there for a while, lost in thought. Suddenly, it hit her. My boss might be strong, but he's not exactly proper. At times like this, it was the secretary's job to keep a close eye on the boss, making sure no one else overheard him. By the time the next class started, Fu Yingzi was still hiding in the corner, unable to take in any more. She bent down and silently sighed, Is the boss still not done? That's enough already. My legs are going numb from standing here. Just then, the office door swung open. Feng Minhu walked out casually. When she saw Fu Yingzi standing in the corner, she cleared her throat softly to get her attention. As she passed by Fu Yingzi, she couldn't help but feel a little smug, thinking to herself, She probably heard everything just now, right? If she did, she should understand. Yuan Chen is mine. Don't even think about it. Fu Yingzai entered the room and politely asked, "Is there something you need from me, boss?" Yuan Chen replied casually, "You've been doing well these past few days, and you've built quite an impressive presence." Fu Yingzai humbly responded, "It's mostly thanks to your skilled leadership. If it were just me alone, I wouldn't have been able to come up with any of this." Yuan Chen smiled and suggested, "With the buzz you've created, I'm sure the startup zone will get a lot of applications. But when you're collecting them, make sure to filter through them first. It'll make it easier to pick out the projects that can be launched quickly." Fu Yingzi asked, "What kind of people should we filter out? What are the criteria?" Yuan Chen rested his chin on his hand and calmly explained, "We need to choose the best candidates, the ones who can represent the new image of our foreign language department. Although our department is a second-tier private school and our teaching quality and student caliber are on par with the top universities, we still have a huge advantage over them." Fu Yingzi, intrigued, asked, "What advantage is that? Please explain, boss." Yuan Chen looked up at her and smiled gently. "Our female students have very high beauty standards." Fu Yingzi was stunned when she heard this. Her eyes went wide, and she thought to herself, "No way, the boss is spending that much money just to invest in some beautiful, sexy college girls. But having a selecting wives event at a university like this is way too obvious, and haven't I basically turned into a eunuch for this whole thing already?" Still feeling confused, she hesitated before asking, "Boss, is this really a good idea?" Yuan Chen looked at her seriously and responded, "We're giving students from foreign relations a chance to start their careers. This is a great opportunity to change their futures and destinies. A lot of people have signed up, so why not choose a few who look nice and pleasant to the eye?" After hearing this, Fu Yingzhe replied seriously, "Got it, boss. I'll go through them first and send you the ones that fit." In her mind, she couldn't help but think, the boss really knows how to talk about this selecting wives thing like it's some kind of public service project. Yuan Chen shifted the conversation. "The appeal exam paper I asked you to design, have you finished it yet?" Fu Yingzi nodded. "Yeah, it's almost done." She had just replied to Yuan Chen while silently admiring his cleverness. The boss is really scheming. It turns out that the request to design the appeals test earlier was just to prepare an excuse to eliminate those who wouldn't be chosen. That way, we can avoid them making a fuss with the school or filing complaints with the higher-ups. To confirm her thoughts, Fu Yingzi leaned closer to Yuan Chen and whispered, "Boss, if we already know who will be selected, could you secretly get the answers for them so they can score higher?" Yuan Chen smiled and praised her for being smart. After hearing his confirmation, Fu Ningzi's conscience split into two, arguing fiercely in her mind. One side thought, "Fu Yingzi, what you're doing is no different from those corrupt officials in the past offering beautiful women to the emperor. Do you really think it's worth it after all the years of studying you put in?" But the other side quickly rebutted, "If those girls were with other guys, would they have a better outcome than with Yuan Chen? This is a two-way choice. If they don't sign up, they'll never even catch the boss's eye. Besides, the boss pays me $10,000 a year. Helping him solve problems and thinking about his needs is just part of the job." After thinking for a while, Fu Bingzi came to a silent conclusion. "Well then, the first step is to introduce the first beautiful woman to the boss." After thinking for a moment, Fu Yingzai turned to Yuan Chen and said, "Boss, I have a junior from a lower year who wants to get to know you." Yuan Chen, interested, asked, "How old is she?" Fu Yingzi seriously pointed to her chest and replied, "She's about as big as me." Yuan Chen was taken aback and responded, "Secretary Fu, what are you talking about? I was asking about her age." At this point, Fu Yingzi blushed a little, apologized, and quickly pulled out her phone to look up the information. She handed the details about her junior to Yuan Chen and said, "Boss, she's a sophomore, 19 years old, and her nickname on campus is Little Dragon Girl." Yuan Chen took the phone, thinking to himself, "Looks like I still have a chance to be the knight in shining armor." After seeing the junior's pretty face in the photo, Yuan Chen nodded and said to Fu Yingzi, I can definitely connect with her. Send me her WeChat." Almost immediately, Lin Yucheng sent a message to Yuan Chen. "Are you free tonight? Let's grab a drink together." Yuan Chen looked at the message on his phone and thought to himself, she said, "Next time we meet." I didn't expect it would be just a few days later. You raised an eyebrow and smiled slightly. Inside, you thought to yourself, "Are you sure it's just drinking?" Despite the curiosity, you still sent her a short reply. At 9 p.m., Yu Cheng sat on the sofa, staring at the message Yuan Chen had just sent. She smiled and muttered happily. I didn't expect Yuan Chen to reply so quickly. Deep down, she thought, I've only had 2 drinks with Yuan Chen and already things are getting complicated. Plus, when I'm with Yuan Chen, I feel like I'm back in high school. She closed her eyes, stretched out on the sofa, and wished to herself, I hope time flies, so it's 9 o'clock p.m. already. Meanwhile, Yuan Chen ran into a new problem. As soon as he stepped out of his car, he saw a pile of love letters stuffed into his windshield. He quickly picked one up and froze as he read the words. Can we be friends? I'm 36, about your age. There was a bright red lipstick kiss mark on the envelope. Before he could even throw away the stack of letters, two girls in revealing outfits appeared behind him. They walked up, cooing, Hey, Yuan Chen, my sister and I are heading out to shop. Can you give us a ride? Yuan Chen coldly opened the car door, got in, and left only one sentence. Sorry, I have to pick someone up later. There's no space left. But the two girls didn't give up. They both stepped closer, blushing, and asked, Oh, really? Well, could we add you on WeChat? Maybe we could hang out next time. Yuan Chen quickly got into the car, rolled down the window, and politely declined. Sorry, my WeChat is already full of friends. I can't add anyone new right now. After saying that, he stepped on the gas and the car sped off, leaving the two girls standing there frozen and staring after him. Two young men nearby saw the scene and started talking. Did you see that? That's what a rich person looks like. The girl we both want, he doesn't even care about. Doesn't it make you angry? He's only a little taller than us, a little better looking, a little richer, and yet so many girls like him. The guy with short hair lowered his head and sighed. Do you really think it's just about being a little richer? A G63 worth $3 million. Honestly, we'll never make enough money in our lives to buy a car like that. The young man beside him fell silent for a moment before responding, All right, if that's the case, then forget about the girls. You're making me go crazy. I just want to dive in already. The guy with the short hair, hearing this, looked at his friend in confusion and reminded him, No way, man. You're a guy too. At least try to keep some dignity, all right? The other young man confidently replied, So, what if I'm a guy? If I could really achieve financial freedom, I'd even be willing to swear loyalty. Hearing this, the guy with the short hair hesitated but eventually gave in, saying, Well, you put it that way. I guess it's not impossible. Guess there's no hope left for us. Fast forward to 9 p.m. that evening, Yuan Chen sat across from Lin Yuchang, gently asking, Is there something bothering you at home? Lin Yuchang, calm as always, spoke up, Yuan Chen, I want to ask you something. Yuan Chen, ever the good listener, nodded and responded, Go ahead. Lin Yuchang blushed slightly, turned his head, and asked, Yuan Chen, do you believe in love? Yuan Chen didn't even think twice before answering, I guess I can say I do, and I can also say I don't. In his mind, a thought suddenly crossed. Back in high school, I really believed in love. The feeling of butterflies with your first love. That was definitely pure love. But after breaking up, I couldn't feel that way with Wan Ting anymore. Even with Nana, Lu, or Hui Hui, something always seemed to be missing. Yuan Chen's answer seemed to completely miss the mark for Lin Yuchang. She looked a little dazed and confused, muttering, Yuan Chen, you're being so vague. Just then, her phone rang. Lin Yuchang picked it up and answered softly, I'm looking for an air conditioner repairman. The voice on the other end quickly responded, When would be a convenient time for you? We can schedule someone to come fix it at your place. Lin Yuchang hesitated for a moment before replying, Tomorrow morning or the day after works for me. The repair service immediately replied, Got it. We'll have someone call you tomorrow. She quickly thanked them and hung up. Yuan Chen, sitting across from her, casually asked, Is the air conditioner broken? Lin Yuchang smiled awkwardly and explained, It's been broken for a few days now. I've been sleeping with a fan on instead. Seizing the opportunity, Yuan Chen offered, Actually, you don't need to call a repairman. I know how to fix air conditioners. Lin Yuchang was surprised. You can fix air conditioners? Yuan Chen did respond, but silently thought to herself, System, I want to switch the skill card I chose last time. The system immediately displayed a notification. The host can choose from basic cooking skills, basic combat skills, basic household appliance repair skills, or basic racing driving skills. Yuan Chen quickly selected basic household appliance repair skills. The system confirmed the choice and sent another message. The host can now use this skill to repair TVs, refrigerators, range hoods, and air conditioners. Yuan Chen looked at her hands and felt satisfied. With a smile, she thought, My fingers suddenly feel much more nimble. It must be from handling screwdrivers and other tools so often. Feeling confident, Yuan Chen said, I'm sure I can fix it. I've learned this trade. Lin Yuchang asked in surprise, Is your husband home? Yuan Chen answered, No, he's not. Lin Yuchang hesitated before asking, Why is that? A little while later, at Lin Yuchang's house, Yuan Chen was seriously working on the air conditioner. Lin Yuchang stood behind her, face flushed, feeling confused. Teng Jinyang said he would be home today, and the kids at the countryside with his grandmother. I brought Yuan Chen here to fix the air conditioner, but it still feels so strange. A little while later, Yuan Chen came back and said, It's just that it hasn't been clean in a while, so the dust built up. Just wipe off the dust and wash the filter and it'll be fine. Lin Yuchang stood behind him, feeling unsure about her own appeal. She had been worried about what he might do when they entered the room together, but now she realized she'd overthought it. A young man and woman in the same room, he really just wanted to fix the air conditioner. She turned and walked out, feeling a bit flustered. I need a shower to clear my mind. With that, Lin Yuchang told Yuan Chen, sorry to trouble you. I'm going to take a shower first. A little while later, Lin Yuchang came back and immediately noticed the cool air in the room, surprised by the change. Yuan Chen stood next to the air conditioner, pointed at it, and said casually, done. Look, cold air. Lin Yuchang smiled gratefully. It feels great. Thanks so much, Yuan Chen. I really don't know how to thank you. Seizing the moment, Yuan Chen took her hand with a teasing tone. If you want to thank me, come here. Lin Yuchang sat down next to him, feeling a little uneasy. What if Zhang Jinyang came back at this moment? She thought to herself and quickly reminded Yuan Chen, we can't do that. However, Yuan Chen completely ignored her. He pinned Lin Yuchang down onto the bed and firmly asked, why can't I? Yuan Chen moved closer to Lin Yuchang, their eyes meeting in a fiery gaze. He continued, from now on, if anything breaks in the house, I'll fix it. And both your heart and your body can be mine to take care of. And so, the two of them became entangled once again. Lin Yuchang called out Yuan Chen's name with rapid breaths. Her hand instinctively gripped the bed sheets and her eyes were hazy as she looked at him. Inside her, a storm of emotions swirled. She thought to herself, let's just say this is an exchange for fixing the air conditioner today. After all, it's not like I haven't been with him before. The sensation of being completely immersed in this moment felt completely different from any of their past encounters. Compared to Zhang Jinyang, this was truly a waste of time. Realizing this, Lin Yuchang finally let go and accepted Yuan Chen's affection. She silently thought, Zhang Jinyang is too weak. Before she could finish the thought, Zhang Jinyang suddenly returned home. As soon as he opened the door, he immediately began cursing, damn it, what bad luck. He walked inside, muttering angrily to himself. Going out for drinks and acting all high and mighty, won't even accept more money. He placed his hand on the doorknob, getting ready to open the door. Lin Yuchang, though still dazed, suddenly snapped to attention. Oh no, it's the sound of the door opening, she thought. She quickly pulled away from Yuan Chen and glanced nervously at the door. Zhang Jinyang, he's really back. Tension filled her as she silently signaled for Yuan Chen to stay quiet. Her mind raced in fear. If Zhang Jinyang finds out, my advantage in handling the divorce and dividing the assets will disappear. I might end up being the one with my reputation ruined. Despite Lin Yuchang's growing panic, Yuan Chen remained calm. He got off the bed, walked over to the door, and casually said, I'm going to lock the door. Seeing him lock the door, Lin Yuchang sat there confused. Why is he being so reckless, she thought. Zhang Jinyang reached the door, but when he didn't see anyone, he muttered angrily, no one's home, and the air conditioner's on. Does that thing run on magic? He walked over to the water dispenser, and just as he was about to grab a cup, he grumbled, useless. Sitting around all day, not doing a thing for the family, can't even get a drink of water. Zhang Jinyang walked up to Yu Chang's door and placed his hand on the doorknob, trying to turn it, but it wouldn't budge. He frowned in frustration, thinking, what's going on? Why is the door locked? Inside, Yuan Chen was getting closer to Yu Chang, his voice low as he whispered, Madam, you wouldn't want your husband to find himself in an awkward situation, would you? Yu Chang understood immediately and quickly covered her mouth with her hand. Outside, Zhang Jinyang struggled with the door, unable to open it. Annoyed, he muttered, are you upset with me? What's the problem with you being late? I'm in this position now, don't I have to make social visits? Inside, the two of them continued ignoring his complaints. After a few moments of trying to get the door open, Zhang Jinyang decided to head to another room. As he opened the door, he grumbled, fine, if you won't let me in, even better. I won't have to deal with marital duties tonight. This way, I'll have more energy for some fun tomorrow. He walked into the other room, flopped onto the bed, and muttered, yeah, tomorrow night. Before long, he was fast asleep. Unaware, just on the other side of the wall, his wife was passionately entwined with someone else. Lin Yuchang often placed her hand on the wall, quietly warning Yuan Chen, be gentle, my husband is right on the other side of this wall. Yuan Chen just grinned, replying, he's asleep, how would he know? Don't worry, this makes it even more exciting. The sound of Zhang Jinyang's snoring echoed from the next room, so loud that Lin Yuchang could hear it clearly. He snores so loudly, even your body has to move with it. Yuan Chen continued laughing in a teasing tone. Lin Yuchang felt a mix of tension and an indescribable thrill. She thought to herself, Yuan Chen is playing with fire. I can't let him pull me off track. I absolutely can't make a sound. I can't let myself think about it. She bit down on her wrist to control herself, but the pleasure was overwhelming, making it impossible to hold back. Lin Yuchang couldn't help but think he's right. This feeling really is unmatched. The next morning came quickly. Zhang Jinyang woke up from the room next door, rubbing his head and muttering, "My head hurts so much. The bar must have sold fake alcohol last night." Lin Yuchang was in the kitchen preparing breakfast. Zhang Jinyang walked out and, upon seeing her, was surprised. "What's going on? She hasn't made breakfast in 2 years, and now this." A sense of satisfaction suddenly flickered in his eyes. A wife to take care of things at home, a lover he'd be entertained outside. This is the life. This is what makes life truly exciting. As he approached, he asked Lin Yuchang, "Oh, did you lock the door again to sleep last night? How was it? Did you sleep well?" Lin Yuchang turned around, her beautiful face breaking into a soft smile. "Yes, it was great." Zhang Jinyang sensed something was off. Her calm demeanor made him suspicious. Wait a second, why is she suddenly being so nice to me? Could it be that she's hiding something? A thought suddenly flashed through his mind, making his heart race. Did she do something wrong to me? Thinking this, he rushed into Lin Yuchang's room and started tossing the bed around, searching everywhere. There wasn't a single strand of a man's hair on the bed, nor any suspicious stains. Still not convinced, he rummaged through the trash, but there was no tissue, no evidence, nothing at all. After searching for a while and finding nothing, he walked out to the dining table, exhaling deeply to calm himself. I must be overthinking. Lin Yuchang calmly pushed a glass of milk toward him and said, "Eat your breakfast." Zhang Jinyang sat down at the table, looking puzzled as he asked, "Last night, in a daze, I think I heard something hit the wall. Did you hear it too?" Lin Yuchang calmly responded, "No, you must have imagined it. You were sleeping soundly anyway." Zhang Jinyang stared at his wife and asked again, "So, I must have been mistaken, but didn't you say the air conditioner was broken? How come I don't see any issues?" Lin Yuchang casually replied, "I already called someone to fix it." She lowered her head to pour milk into a glass, her face flushing slightly. A gentle smile appeared on her lips as she thought to herself, that sound must have been from the air conditioner repair. Not only did he fix the air conditioner, but he also healed my heart. At the same time, in a cafe, Lai Ying, Zhu Wanting's best friend, rushed in. As soon as she saw her, Lai Ying asked with concern, "Wanting, what's wrong? You haven't slept in 2 days. Did something happen?" Zhu Wanting, with dark circles under her eyes, looked up at Lai Ying and said, "Ying Ying, do you know? I've heard my ex is doing really well now, so well that I feel like I could just die." Lai Ying, curious, sat down next to her and asked, "Which ex are you talking about?" Zhu Wanting quickly replied, "Yuan Chen, it's like I have a whole bunch of exes or something." Lai Ying was confused for a moment and asked again, "How is Yuan Chen doing well? After his family went bankrupt, he even had to sell his car." Zhu Wanting, looking frustrated, explained, "You have no idea. After we broke up, he hit the jackpot, or something. He spent $3 million to buy a house for another woman and even bought a Porsche 911 for his personal trainer, which cost more than $2 million. Lai Ying was shocked. "Seriously? So, in the blink of an eye, he just blew $5 million? How do you know all this? This isn't some made-up story, is it?" Zhu Wanting held up her phone, showing the chat screen, and said, "That woman is my personal trainer at the gym. She told me herself. When he bought the car, she even posted it on her social media. After she got with Yuan Chen, she quit her job. Can you believe that, Ying Ying? Why am I so unlucky? I should be the one getting all that, not her." Lai Ying stared in shock at the luxurious items on the screen, momentarily unable to respond. On the other hand, Zhu Wanting slumped down, rubbing her head and gritting her teeth, her heart burning with frustration. She thought to herself, what was I thinking back then? I actually dumped Yuan Chen for Hu Jun. Now Yuan Chen is doing so well, and here I am, I can't even get a good night's sleep. Seeing Zhu Wanting like this, Lai Ying genuinely felt concerned and tried to comfort her. "Wanting, what's done is done. Let it go and start fresh. With your background, finding good guys shouldn't be hard. Plus, you work in the airline industry, so you meet rich people all the time. Finding someone with a few million shouldn't be impossible." Zhu Wanting laughed bitterly at Lai Ying's words. Smirking, she replied, "A few million? Right now, I wouldn't even look twice at someone with just a few million, let alone someone with only a couple." Lai Ying was taken aback by that response, unsure of what to say next. Before she could offer more advice, Zhu Wanting suddenly stood up, her face full of determination, and declared, "Ying Ying, I want to get back together with Yuan Chen." She lowered her head, muttering, "But Yuan Chen has blocked me on both WeChat and my phone. I can't contact him anymore. What do you think? Why is he being so cold like this?" Lai Ying tried to comfort her. "It's no use thinking about that now. Just focus on living your own life. It's okay to lower your expectations a little." Hearing this, Zhu Wanting suddenly lost her composure. She turned and yelled at Lai Ying, Ying Ying, you're my best friend. You know me so well. Right now, I just can't lower my expectations. Not even a little bit. Just thinking about Yuan Chen spending money on those women makes me so upset. Those things should be mine, not theirs. Out of nowhere, Zhu Wanting grabbed Lai Ying's wrist and started pulling her along, shouting, "No, Ying Ying, you have to help me find him." Lai Ying, still holding her phone tightly, was being dragged along. Her fingers flew across the screen, typing quickly without even looking. Just as they were about to step out of the cafe, she managed to send a message. "What's the number for the Sing Cheng Mental Health Center? Everyone in the group, please send it to me quickly. My friend is not in a good state right now. If we don't get a doctor here soon, I'm worried something serious might happen." At the same time, in the Junyu Hotel, Liu Menglu stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, staring out into the distance. Yuan Chen walked up from behind and asked with curiosity, "Coach Liu, what are you doing? Why are you just staring at the river?" Liu Menglu turned around and smiled gently, replying, "I was just thinking. My training plan and nutrition are both scientifically designed, but your progress is beyond what I expected. You've been gaining weight and building muscle much faster than normal." Yuan Chen turned away and walked to the bathroom, casually responding, "Of course, I'm not like other people." He looked up at the system status board in front of him and read through the details. Height, 182 centimeters, health index, 70, BMI, 20.8, body fat percentage, 18.3%, immunity, 70, activity level, 71. While interacting with the system, Yuan Chen thought to himself, long-term training has helped improve my immunity and brain activity levels. It seems this training task isn't just a job. It should become a long-term habit. Nowadays, so many people have poor health. Once the startup project stabilizes, it's time to step into society and build my career. Health is a great path. Improving the physical well-being of the community, making money, and boosting one's reputation and influence. After Yuan Chen finished changing, he told Liu Menglu, "Coach Liu, you don't need to wait for me. I have something else to take care of today." Liu Menglu gently tucked her hair behind her ear and replied, "Got it, you go ahead and handle your things. I'll wait for your call." She happily thought to herself, "Every morning, I prepare a nutritious breakfast and workout clothes for Yuan Chen. Finally, I feel like I'm actually needed. This way, I can always be by his side, right?" Yuan Chen sat in the car, lost in thought. Hui has been with me from the very beginning. Aside from a couple of handbags and a few million as small goals, she hasn't received much. Even Nana and Lulu, who joined later, already have houses and cars. I really do owe Hui a lot. I need to make it up to her today for sure. At the same time, at a restaurant near the school gate, Feng Minhu was having a meal with two others. The woman sitting across from her spoke up and asked, "Minhu, this place is pretty good. Do you and your classmates come here often?" Feng Minhui replied cheerfully, "I come here sometimes with my classmates, my cousin, and my brother-in-law. You two should eat a little more." Minhu's brother-in-law, Zhang Zhen, who was married to her cousin Song Juan, sat next to Song Juan. Zhang Zhen asked seriously, "Minhu, what kind of job do you plan to get after finishing your foreign economics degree? You're already in your third year, so I'm sure you'll start your internship soon, right?" Feng Minhui answered honestly, "I'll start my internship next semester, but I haven't thought about my job yet." Zhang Zhen took a sip of water and said, "You should start planning ahead. You're only studying at a second-tier school, so you really need to think carefully." Feng Minhui nodded and replied, "Yes, I understand." Song Juan then asked, "By the way, Minhu, do you have a boyfriend? If you don't start dating during college, it'll be harder to meet someone once you're out in the workforce." Zhang Zhen, for some reason, became excited and interjected, "Exactly. My cousin is right. You need to find a boyfriend soon. By the way, my cousin's child is currently studying for a master's degree abroad and is interning in a top 500 company. The bosses really value them. Once they graduate, they'll get a full-time position right away." Song Juan turned to Min Hui and smiled, saying, "Min Hui, if you don't have a boyfriend yet, maybe you could try getting to know my cousin." Feng Min Hui straightened up and replied, "No need, brother-in-law. I already have a boyfriend." Song Juan was surprised by this, leaning forward as he asked, "When did this happen? Why didn't you tell the family?" With a proud smile, Feng Min Hui answered, "He's a classmate from college. We've only been dating for a little over half a month, so I haven't had the chance to tell anyone yet." Chang Zhen, hearing this, looked dissatisfied and warned dating is no joke. Your school is only a second-tier university, and the quality of students varies. If you're just casually dating someone like that, things will be tough for you in the real world. Feng Min Hui remained calm and responded, "Thank you for the advice, but I don't think I'll have a tough time in the future." Zhang Zhen adjusted his glasses slightly and, trying to sound wise, began lecturing her, "Min Hu, you've never worked before, so your perspective is still limited. I just want to remind you that, as a graduate of a second-tier school, you'll probably end up working for small companies with average salaries. You and your boyfriend will struggle to make ends meet. How will you afford a house or a wedding? On the other hand, my cousin graduated from a prestigious university and is currently interning at a top 500 company. Before she could finish her sentence, Song Juan immediately cut in. It's fine, Min Hui will handle it. Jang Zhen fell silent after hearing this. He pouted and said, it's just that I'm worried your boyfriend might not be well off enough and I don't want you to get shortchanged. Feng Minhui forced a smile and replied, you really don't need to worry about me, big sister, brother-in-law. But inside, she thought to herself, so what if I graduated from a prestigious university? What does being in the top 500 even matter? Those things don't hold a candle to Yuan Chen in my eyes. I'm more worried that if I told brother-in-law the truth about Yuan Chen, he'd be shocked. With that thought, Feng Binhui stood up politely and said, big sister, well, I need to go now. Song Juan curiously asked, do you have somewhere to be? Feng Binhui smiled brightly and replied casually, my boyfriend is taking me to buy a house. The words that slipped out made Song Juan jump in surprise, and she couldn't help but exclaim, buying a house? Jang Zhen was taken aback, quickly responding, this isn't something to joke about. What makes him think he can buy a house for you? Even though property prices in Xinjiang aren't as high as in big cities, a house still costs between $1 to $2 million. Buying a house for a woman before marriage, if her family isn't completely clueless, they'd never agree to that. At that moment, Yuan Chen pulled up outside. Feng Minhui pointed out the window and said, I'm not joking. I'm not sure about his family background, but as for him, well, his wealth is pretty obvious. He's here. Yuan Chen walked in and gently asked, Hui, are you ready? Feng Binhu took Yuan Chen's arm and warmly introduced him. Yuan Chen, this is my cousin and her husband. Yuan Chen approached the couple, lightly saying, sorry, I already made plans with Hui to look at some houses today, so I can't stay for dinner. I'll make it up to you next time and treat you to a proper meal. I'll cover the cost for today. Song Juan quickly waved her hand, responding kindly, you two go ahead and take care of your own plans. It's no big deal. We'll all be family soon, so there will be plenty of chances to meet again. After Yuan Chen and Feng Minhui left, Chang Zhen stood there in a daze, stammering to himself, are they really going to buy a house? Song Juan looked at her husband, furrowing her brow. She said, they're driving a $3 million car, so buying a house is nothing for them. On the other hand, Hugh's acting like you're someone special in front of Minhui, even introducing your brother to her. Are you planning to live on a mountain or what? Chang Zhen, struck by her words, blushed and didn't dare say anything. A little later, Yuan Chen handed Feng Minhui a property deed and said gently, all right, Hui, this is a 166 square meter apartment, fully furnished with 2 parking spots. The total price is $3.2 million to be paid in full. Now you are officially a homeowner. Feng Binhui took the deed, her face lighting up with joy as she said, Yuan Chen, I don't even know what to say. Yuan Chen looked at her, a smile spreading across his face, and thought to himself, this real estate deal just brought in a return of $6 million. If I subtract the properties the system gifted me, my available cash in the account has now reached $31.79 million. Yuan Chen leaned in close to her ear and whispered, not sure what to say. How about you watch a movie from the island nation later? You're smart, so I'm sure you'll understand it right away. Feng Binhu blushed when she heard that, then playfully scolded him. You're such a tease. The number above her head jumped to 93. Yuan Shen smiled to himself, feeling satisfied. Looks like Minhu's affection for me just went up from 91 to 93. Seems like hitting 100 will take a little more time and effort. Tonight, I'll have to work hard on that spot of mine to bump it up another point or two. Meanwhile, Long Jinghan was lying in her dorm room, staring at the messages she had sent to Yuan Chen. Feeling down, she thought to herself, Yuan Chen accepted my friend request, but now when I message him, he hasn't replied to a single one. What's going on? She rested her hand on her forehead, her eyes closing as she thought, no matter how busy he is, he should still have time to reply to a WeChat message, right? I used to hate people who chased after others like I'm doing now. And now, I've turned into one of them. Below, the girls in the dorm were getting ready for class, chatting excitedly. One of them spoke up, ladies, don't get swept up in the hype. The competition is fierce now, and chasing after Yuan Chen won't get you anywhere. Everyone in our dorm is doing well. There are plenty of good guys out there, so why bother throwing yourself at him? Another student agreed, exactly, right now the focus should be on studying, preparing for exams, and getting a few more certificates. That's the real way forward. Let's go, we need to hit the library and do some research. Long Jinghan, who was lying on her bed, heard this and glanced over at the girls, thinking to herself, they're talking about studying and researching, but aren't they really sneaking out to work on their startup plans? What's there to be ashamed of? Why pretend? I mean, with someone as tall, handsome, and rich as Yuan Chen, with billions to his name, what girl wouldn't be drawn to him? I can't really criticize them. I'm no different. Long Jinghan got out of bed, pulled out a chair, and sighed, thinking I should just focus on finishing my startup plan first. The scene shifts to Yuan Chen, who is sitting on the bed, casually scrolling through his phone while asking, "Hoot hoot, have you ever thought about what you want to do in the future?" Fang Minhu, sitting next to him, shakes her head and replies, "Not yet. I haven't really thought about it. Maybe I should sign up for a startup program or something." Yuan Chen thinks for a moment and then gently suggests, "Well, that's not a bad idea, but didn't you study other fields too? But the time comes, I'll help you figure things out." Fang Minhui immediately nods, her eyes lighting up. "Really?" Yuan Chen smiles, holding out his phone in front of her, silently thinking to himself, having a possessive girlfriend like Minhu, who watches me all the time at school, means I can't really get anything done. If I want to build my own team of beauties, she can't be part of it. After that thought, Yuan Chen continues, "Didn't you want to learn some foreign techniques? Let's see. Yomakami, Karen Yuzuria, Mobo Sakura, Tsukasa Oe. Which teacher would you pick?" Fang Minhu blushes and shyly says, "Yuan Chen, how do you know so much?" Yuan Chen honestly laughs and replies, "I just browse around online to check. How else would I know about all this?" Hearing that, Fang Minhu feels reassured. She closes her eyes, stretches her hand out, and says, "In that case, I'll just randomly choose one." About 20 minutes later, Fang Minhu lay on top of Yuan Chen, gently placing the softest part of her body on his back. She blushed and softly asked, "Yuan Chen, does it feel good now? Do you like it?" Yuan Chen, lying underneath her, comfortably responded, "Minhui, don't stop." Fang Minhu teasingly laughed and said, "I didn't think you'd actually learn this well. Does that mean you'll be visiting me more often?" Yuan Chen lay there, thinking for a moment, then replied, "Did you try so hard just for me? A girl like the class beauty? He'd be a few more like her." The next morning, Yuan Chen was woken up by his phone ringing nonstop. As soon as he picked up, a frantic voice came through. "Yuan Chen, get over here now." Yuan Chen, still groggy, responded, "Lai Yuhang, what's going on? Why are you in such a rush? What's up?" Lai Yuhang on the other end sounded panicked. "Stop talking and listen, I've sent you my location. Get here quick." The urgency in Lai Yuhang's voice instantly snapped Yuan Chen awake. He stared at the phone screen, now turned off, wondering to himself, what's going on?